So it was quite funny because like Leon was such a big question mark for me in the beginning. Also, like the tonality of the film was a big question mark because knowing Christian's earlier movies, I was like, how's this gonna fit in with the rest of his filmography? But doing the first table read, we sort of like it was really pleasant experience because I got to see Paula after I think 10 years. We did a movie 10 years prior to that, and then we saw each other at the table read. I think she was 18 the first time I met her, and I was 20, and then like 10 years apart, we sort of grown up. And Matthias, who I did a Netflix show with, and it was like really a nice get together, and we just rolled off our seats laughing at the script, and that really helped sort of finding, the tonality of the movie and what it would be like, and how the story works best, which is over the lightness and sort of because like given the setting of the movie, they kind of sort of put Leon's problems in a completely different perspective because he is in paradise throughout the whole movie, so his problems really seem minuscule, and so it really helped approaching his issues with humor, and you can see his progression throughout the movie, like step by step. He becomes like a bit more self-reflective and realizes what kind of asshole he is really throughout the story. Because his development is so cyclical, and you feel like there's none at all, that there is just very subtly. And it was, with Leon, it's sort of to sort of see, because he's been given so many opportunities throughout the story, and to sort of do that cyclical progression, like he gets better and he's always has an opportunity, and he's always the chance to change, but falls into the same patterns. It was really that sort of understanding how his progression would like very slowly work, to see how the character would work best. Yeah, and it's just been a real pleasure sort of playing this misanthrope sort of person. He really gives you a lot of leeway. The way he works is that he feeds you like a lot of input. You get the music of the movie beforehand, and he hands you a lot of literature that he always says, this has nothing to do with a movie, but maybe it does. So he would give you all these books to read and do comparisons with other movies. Then he creates a setting. The set itself is created in a way that you have all the freedom. Like, we meet up in the morning. None of the team members are there yet. It's just us and the director. And we sort of start rehearsing. So everything is created, so you have maximum freedom for your imagination to sort of run wild. Once you start rehearsing, he sort of leans back and just observes you. Kind of like a scientist who would, mix some chemicals together, put the right ingredients together, and then he sort of created life, and he would just watch life do its own thing. That's how he does. He like really enjoys watching you work with the input he has given you, but he doesn't necessarily he really lets you trust your instinct, and he goes after the actor's instinct, and that is a huge pleasure to be able to do that. Yeah, definitely. There's been moments where I sort of would not, where it's often like the idea of sort of perfection that sort of blocks you. And it's interesting how like the performance arts meets, the sort of writing in a way, in that this idea of perfection is just sort of blocking it all out, and you can't really go on from there. But the sort of the action is the thing that, you know, separates like a shadow artist from a real artist is just the doing. Sort of any sort of blockage needs to be overcome by action. Well, my favorite book of all times is Narcissus and Goldmund. That's just like a pleasure every time I read it, because it like also talks about creativity and sort of like different mindsets, and yeah, really enjoying always going back to that book. I think if a festival sort of manages to sort of invite movies that are somewhat experimental and invites people, because like filmmaking is just like so expensive. So if we sort of allow films with lower budgets, which are the projects where I think the magic really is in, to sort of to come up with ideas creatively, to sort of work around the lack of money. And if a festival really draws attention to that, and draws attention to the people that sort of have to use their creative minds to come up with something, I feel like there's real magic in that, and power. And yeah, they're just a hub for really creative minds that should be supported to sort of like, yeah, just support that potential. Yeah.